What's the greatest need in the church today, as you would see it, from what you've observed? And I'm sure if we digested some of your books, that we may have insight into it. But what would you perceive, Brother Ravenhill, to be the greatest need in the church in America specifically today?
I won't give you my opinion. I'll give you a Bible opinion from Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 13. My people have committed two evils. They've forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. It's amazing to me when every pastor that comes, oh, I'm in a mega church, we get 4,000 Sunday morning, got nothing to do with your church. Every church in America nearly is filled Sunday morning. How many people do you have in your prayer meeting? The prayer meeting has almost died. Not just in Presbyterian churches, but in Pentecostal churches, in Baptist churches. I have a prayer meeting Thursday morning for pastors. About 20 come. Some come 200 miles, some come 300 miles round trip. And the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've all ended up on the floor in tears, praying for one thing, revival. Nobody's praying for his church. I believe the spiritual condition of America at this moment is lower than it was in the revival of the 1700s with Jonathan Edwards. We've forsaken God, particularly we've forsaken the prayer meeting. What would happen if you had a choir like, say, you have at First Baptist or somewhere? I have First Baptist in Dallas, or Good Brothers First Baptist Church in Atlanta. I stayed there a month once. You have about 200 people in the choir. What if only 10% turned up for choir rehearsal on Friday night? Do you think you might get the resignation of the choir master? But supposing a guy with 26,000 members had 10% come to the prayer meeting, he'd die of shock. But you see, we have had people, just a year ago now, we finished our 500th prayer meeting every Friday night, and it was a prayer meeting. In most churches now, the preacher preaches Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. Forget it. One of the young pastors that comes to us, he got moved by the power of God. He went to his church and said, look, I'm going to preach Sunday morning, Sunday night, but not Wednesday night. We're going to pray. He's in a country church. He went from 60 Wednesday night to 6. They don't want to pray. We had a prayer meeting where people drove 4, 5, and 6 hours. And there were people that came, and they belonged to famous churches in California, and they came over and said, look, we know why God's brought us in this area. We need to learn to pray. We went to a very popular church. It's attended by dozens, hundreds of film stars and others, but there's no prayer life there. But you know what happened? When they come 3 or 4 times, they quit. Do you know why? Because we had men that used to mumble in their prayers, and it pleased God to educate them in the Spirit. And I would go on Wednesday night, I go Friday night. There was one full-blooded American Indian. He was dying in the gutter, snow falling on him. He was a victim of drugs and drink, and God awakened him, and he got wonderfully saved, and he got an anointing in prayer. To hear that man pray for the American Indians, they're the most neglected people in America today. And the Indians somehow don't go after them. You can't go on the reservations, they kill you. All they say, listen, you stole our land, you stole our oil, you stole our mineral rights, you stole our fishing rights, get out of here. And I've told him, stay with it. Stay to your people, with your people. Don't let somebody else wear your crown. You see, some of us will be walking around eternity